Hi, welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. I'm DV LeBron, and today I have a very special guest. I have Mr. Thomas Palladino with the Texas Veterans Commission. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, great. I am great, DB. Thanks for inviting me on your show.
Well, thank you for coming, sir. I reached out, and you were so gracious as to come on and talk about veterans issues, something that's near and dear to both of our hearts. Can you go ahead and tell the people kind of about yourself personally?
Sure. I'm Tom Palladino. I'm the executive director of the Texas Veterans Commission, which is the State Department of Veteran Affairs here in Texas. And I'm an Army veteran. I served in the Army from 1982 to 2009. I retired in 2009 and here in Texas. And I then started this job in 2010. And I've been the executive director of the Texas Veterans Commission since that time.
Wow, that was a long time for serving too. We were talking about that. Um, I appreciate your service to this country, and then continuing to serve, and especially in this role of helping vets out with all different kinds of things. So I know that the Texas Veterans Commission does a lot for veterans. I wanted you to kind of just kind of give a rundown on all the things that Texas Veterans Commission does for vets in the state of Texas.
Sure, Davey. So every state has a State Department of Veteran Affairs, and in Texas, it's the Texas Veterans Commission, and we have 5 commissioners who are appointed by the governor, right? And they oversee the commission and meet quarterly and set public policy for a commission. And one, in fact, Jake Ellzey, who is now your U.S. Congressman, was previously on our commission. He was one of our commissioners before he became a state rep, and then became a U.S. congressman. So those 5 commissioners, then I work for, they're the board, right? And they set policy. And then I'm the executive director. And then what we do, we've been around since 1927. And we advocate, our mission is to advocate for veterans and their families and survivors across the state in many different areas, right? We provide as the best services we can provide for them, and connect them to the services to meet their needs, basically is what they do. So I just give you a quick rundown. The older services are claims disability service. So we have claims benefit advisors. They are located in 42 offices around the state. Most of them are VA facilities, like the Dallas VA, the Fort Worth VA, Waco. They're also in smaller cities like Tyler, and then across the whole state. And they file disability claims for veterans with the VA. And we have strike force teams in the Waco regional office or the Houston VA regional office, which work those claims behind the scenes. We also train and support the over 200 county veteran service officers who work throughout the state, who are the center of veteran services in the particular county. So we'll help train and accredit them so they can also file disability claims with the VA. The next service we have is employment. So we have about 180 veteran employment representatives throughout the whole state. They're in about 70 cities, and their job is to work with recently transitioning service members or veterans with significant barriers to employment to help them with their job skills. And we work with employers in order to do job matching to hire these veterans. So we work with the job skills with the veterans, and we work with the employers in order to hire them. And so we do pretty well in Texas. We're one of the best states for hiring veterans. The next program we have is our healthcare advocacy program. We have about 24 healthcare advocates. They're all located in VA hospitals and medical centers, and they're patient advocates for veterans. So if veterans have any problems with their appointments, doctor visits, if they're getting the runaround with the VA, it's all VA healthcare. They're pharmaceuticals. We're advocates that we represent them and will help them try to solve the problem with billing as well. They do that. Then we have our education program. They work with the schools to approve them to use the GI Bill. And in Hazelwood, the state education benefit, which is called Hazelwood. And we work with veterans to make sure they have access and ability to use those benefits. And if there's any obstacles, we help them overcome those obstacles with those education benefits. Then we have a mental health program, in that we work with veterans to get them into peer-to-peer counseling with other veterans, or if they want clinical services, we can do that, or get them in a mental health program with the VA. If they have any issues, about their mental health, we can help steer them in the right direction. And we have and because mental health it is an issue that we need to address and not dismiss, as well as we have an entrepreneur program that helps veterans start and maintain their own businesses. We have a women veterans program that focuses in. We have women veteran coordinators around the state. We have 4 of them, and they will actually work with women to get them into the services to meet their needs, whether it's healthcare, childcare, employment issues, right? It doesn't matter what it is. We will find out what they need and try to get them into those services. We have, as part of our mental health program, I forgot to mention 2 sub-programs. One is a homeless veterans program and a Justice Involved veterans. So the homeless veterans program is we work with organizations to try to alleviate veteran homelessness across the state. And the Justice Involved veterans is we work with the criminal justice system. We work with veterans who are incarcerated and trying to help them when they transition out, right, to be successful when they come back into society. And we also support 30 veteran treatment courts. So they're county level veteran treatment courts that, if a veteran has a history of mental or alcohol or drug abuse, they can be referred into one of these courts. And then what we do is we support them, and they go through a program of rehabilitation, and then the charges get dropped. And then the last one I want to talk about is our grant program. We have a Fund for Veteran Assistance grant program. It's funded by a veteran cash ticket, a $2 ticket, and we award about $30 million a year to nonprofit cities and counties. We provide a variety of services. It could be financial assistance, renovating homes for disabled veterans, mental health services, transportation. There's a whole array of services out there. So that, in a nutshell, is the main services we provide. But if a veteran needs help with something else, we will try to find out what that service is to meet that need.
Wow. You'd rattled off quite a list.
I know.
That's a lot.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. That is a lot of stuff. But I wanted the veterans to know what the Texas Veterans Commission does for them. It's a resource, and that's needed in our community. So claims, by far, probably one of the biggest things besides mental health that you deal with. Talk to me about your success with claims, some of the things that you're seeing, and how the Texas Veterans Commission has been doing with that.
So, we file more claims in Texas than most organizations do in the entire country. So we have a power of attorney. We have a free. It's all services are free, by the way. So if anyone ever charges, if you're a veteran out there, and anyone is charging you for these services, they should not be. You should not be paying anyone for any of these services because they're all free. And whether you go to the Texas Veterans Commission, which under our power of attorney, which a lot of the county veteran service officers also use our power of attorney, but some of them also use like the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers, the VFW, the DAV, any American Legion, any of these power of attorneys, they're all accredited organizations. You shouldn't pay for any service. So we basically file about 140,000 new claims every year. And we do a caseload of over 250,000 cases every year. That's the amount of claims that we're doing in the state of Texas. And the veterans who are receiving benefits under the power of attorney of Texas Veterans Commission and the county veteran service officers, they use it. I think last year they received $4.3 billion in their pockets. I mean, that's how successful the program is. But the focus is 4 billion, 4.3. So it just shows you how much money is coming in to these veterans, which they've earned it. They've earned that. They have some sort of disability, whether it's mental or physical, that they've incurred, and even if it's a long time ago, like we've had World War II veterans or Korean War veterans, or they served a long time ago and they never filed, and there's now they have repercussions in their lives later on. You could trace that back to their service in a lot of cases. So our benefit advisors or the county veteran service officers we work with, they'll work those with their medical files, and we'll get them examinations with the VA, and we advocate for them with the VA, and it goes all the way through. And in the end, I would say most of them are successful. They get a favorable rating. I'm not saying they all do, but a lot of them do, and which is compensation for the disability. And then of course you can always readdress it in later on. And we also represent the veterans with appeals with the Board of Veteran Appeals.
Oh, wow.
And the Court of Veteran Appeals. So we contract with attorneys and the Washington, D.C. area, which pro bono, free of charge, represent veterans at the Court of Veteran Appeals as well, if that claim goes all the way up, all the way there.
Wow, that's a lot of representation and a lot of good you're doing with claims. Claims can be one of the most frustrating things that a veteran has to go through when dealing with the VA.
I wanted to add on one of those, something else on that. So pre-pandemic, we saw all the veterans face to face, and they walked into the clinic. We're in all the outpatient clinics in the Dallas, Fort Worth, VA hospitals. But during the pandemic, we went to virtual services, which means that we went to appointments. So on our website, which is tvc.texas.gov, you go on there and it hits you up and it has a form and what do you need? And you can sign up for appointments. And so now we do virtual appointments and we do in-person appointments. And we also do walk-ins, but most of them are appointments. So now it makes it easy on the veteran that you can do these disability claims appointments. You can do them. You can begin them online, face-to-face with one of our advisors.
Wow. And that makes it a lot easier than going, because not every veteran is mobile. But that's fascinating. I'm still stuck on some of the things that you were saying, billion and stuff like that. A lot of veterans go through a lot of hard stuff, but probably the second hardest thing to deal with the VA is care. Care can be quite a behemoth. So one of my earliest memories was my dad in New York. My dad telling me, we were looking down at a guy who was laying on the street, and he was a very apparent Vietnam veteran, and my dad was a Vietnam veteran. And my dad said, this is how our country treats our veterans. And that stuck. That hurt, that stuck. But he loved his country all the way till the day he died. And, I ended up serving, and that makes 3 generations now. It's very hard to deal with the health. So as far as you were talking about patient advocates and how does that work? Because one of the biggest things is the veteran can't get the care that they need. So how does that work?
So the legislature, gave us these resources. They allocated them for us, and they allocated these healthcare advocates. And we made a deal with the VA. With the Vision 17, which is in Arlington, and with the VA hospitals, that we could place them in there. So they're healthcare advocates, they're patient advocates, they're in these VA outpatient clinics, or they're in the hospitals, and they work for the veterans. So the VA has their own patient advocates, and I'm not saying they do a bad job, but they work for the VA. These patient advocates, they work for the veterans. And so basically there's a VA form that the veteran signs that gives them ability to represent them. So they can go, whatever the issue is, making them appointment, solving problems with the doctor visits, or with their health care in the hospital, or the billing. They can go and they will try to resolve that issue, right? They'll look up their file, they'll find out what the options are, they'll call the veteran, they'll do the groundwork. So the veteran doesn't have to go in and tromp around the medical facility to get the runaround. So our advocate will get the runaround until he or she solves the problem, and then works with that veteran to solve that. And there's many instances of this. The VA and some healthcare centers, because the state's divided up. There's a veteran integrated service network, and then they're broken up right into the North Texas healthcare region, the Central Texas, South Texas, West Texas, So some are better than others. Some, give better services than others. They all try hard. I would say that none of them don't try hard. They try hard, but they're overwhelmed and they're spread thin. So especially in the rural areas. So that's where we find out these veterans that can't make appointments. So they make an appointment, they go and they get the runaround. And a lot of the care is also sent to private providers who are non-VA providers, and then they'll get a bill. So the non-VA providers sometimes will bill the VA, and the VA doesn't pay in time, so they bill the veteran. Well, the veteran shouldn't pay. They should come to us, and then we will get with the VA and TRICARE and to make sure that that bill is paid. The veteran should never pay a bill, that they that the veteran, they're either the VA or the insurance should pay. So whatever it is, and the wait times are too long, they come to us. We will try to solve that or get them into a different clinic, right, in order to solve their issue. Also, there's telehealth where we get it. We'll help them with that too.
Wow, that is good. And you were mentioning, you mentioned women veteran. Um, One of the other parts of healthcare is 22 a day veterans dying, and I know that statistic is changing, but it's still too high. That are taking their lives because of post traumatic stress, and when it comes to women, MST, military sexual trauma. So you were saying that you have like advocates or stuff like that for women's healthcare. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so we have women veteran coordinators. We have four. We have a director, and then four, which is only a couple other states have a women veteran program like that. And so they work with every organization out there. A lot of them nonprofits, local government, the VA. Most VAs, the big VAs, have a women veteran program, and so they work with them in order to make sure that the services are available for women veterans that need those services. There's a Texas Veterans Network as well that is provided by Combined Arms up in the northern part of the state. And it's a database of different services that you can use, and they'll make sure that we identify what women veterans need. There's a lot of women veterans needs fall in the area of homelessness, single parent, issues where they're trying to take care of their family and they're a single parent, employment issues, healthcare. Yes, there is mental health as well, and physical health issues. Military sexual trauma, which men can suffer too, by the way, and so you do have a vast array of issues. Also, there's an issue with women veterans, which we've always tried to solve, is the recognition as a veteran. So historically, not all women veterans go through this, but there are some that go through that they don't recognize themselves as veterans. And so we did a big awareness campaign, to I Am Not Invisible campaign, to understand that you're recognized too. Where there's historically, you'll see a man and a woman will go into a VA hospital, and the receptionist there will talk to the man that he's the veteran, and not the woman, where she happens to be the veteran too, or is the veteran and the man is not. So we it's an awareness campaign, but also not just that, but to identify themselves as a veteran and to seek services to meet their needs. And that is that's a great accomplishment, because that just helps them with the quality of life. Because the whole purpose here is to improve everyone's physical and mental well-being and quality of life. And so we try to hit those needs. Homeless. There's more homeless veterans than people think, because a homeless veteran is not just a homeless veteran living under a bridge or in the woods. A homeless veteran is also a homeless veteran that's living in their car, or they live at someone else's house, and they go from house to house to house. And if they have a single parent and they have children, that makes it very hard to manage that lifestyle.
Now with the homeless vets, in Ellis County, there's the Serenity Veterans Home, but there's other places. How does TVC help with veterans that are homeless, or help those that are helping those Texas veterans that are homeless?
So I mentioned the grant program. So every year we award about $30 million, which comes from the Lottery Commission, mostly through this veteran cash ticket. So there's a veteran cash ticket out there. If anyone likes buying lottery tickets, look for the veteran cash ticket, right? It's a $2 ticket. There's a percentage of that goes into this fund. And our commissioners award grants every year to all of these nonprofit cities and counties. And part of those services is homelessness and home improvement. Home improvement for disabled veterans, and then homelessness, to alleviate homelessness. They go to organizations that will take homeless veterans in, or try to get them into appropriate housing, or get them job skills, or put them into programs for rehab as well. Because there's many issues that contribute to someone being homelessness, right? It isn't just one issue. There's a whole bunch of issues. So we try to identify what those issues are and get them into a situation where they can get out of homelessness. And so there's many organizations out there that we fund. And most of them are in metropolitan areas. They're in cities because that's where most of the homeless veterans, are.
Yeah, and that house thing. Since you were saying that, I know that Texas helps veterans, and you kind of touched on it, and a lot of veterans don't know that Texas will help a veteran fix up their home.
That's right.
They have a I don't know if it's a loan. Please correct me if you could tell me about that.
So there are these organizations there that we provide grants to them. Their construction companies, or they do, like Habitat for Humanity is one of them. And what they'll do is they will either build new homes, or they renovate existing homes, which is most of the money goes to that. And it's for disabled veterans that need some sort of repair or construction of their home to make it ADA compliant. And so they'll go in there and do that. And so it's on our website. So our website, tvc.texas.gov, if you go under grants, and then it shows you the current grants by region. It actually will tell you North Texas, Central Texas, South Texas, and they're in there. And it'll tell you these organizations and point of contacts for every organization that has received a grant funding, right? And so that people can look to these to find out if there's an organization there that might meet their need. But also, if they just go to our website, there's a form, like I said, pops up, and they put in there what they need. They put in the form and they submit it in, and it goes to that program. And it's like, I need help with, housing. I need help with renovating my home. I need help with a disability claim. And then someone will contact them from that. So there's two ways. One is the list of organizations that are out there. Another is actually asking for help for someone to contact them.
So I went to the website, and as you can see right here,
oh,
and
look at you.
it popped off when I got on there. But everything that he said, the list of it, let me see if it'll do it.
If you go to grants, if you want to look at that. If you go to grants, so that form popped up, right, when you first got on there.
Yeah, and
right?
that's what I'm trying to see if it'll.
Well, it when you pop back. Yeah, it's like when you first come up there. I think there's so the very top. Look at the very top. You see the very top question or comment? Click that. Yeah. And I think it will pop back up. And I think if you scroll down.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So, right. So now you hit. So if you want one of these programs, right? So it tells, let's see. Let's go. So if you go on, the grant's not up there, but if you go into there, but if you go up and click one of the others, like one of the other programs like claims or healthcare, they're all in there. See, entrepreneur, fund veteran assistance. There it is. Click on that. Well, but it's going to ask you to put a form in.
Yeah,
so that's actually a person, but you can go in and ask for that. Someone will then contact you. But if you go up top, so that's a really good form, and we do respond to that. So if you go up to the top to the grants, if you click into the grants, right, and you hit on grants, and then assistance directory, that was where I wanted you to go. Now go down, find services, assistance in your county. There it is, right there. Click on that. Right, and that should pop up. Right, now keep going down, and then regional assistance directories on the left. There you go. And if you want to go down to scroll down to your region, so you might be in North Texas.
Right.
Let's see if go down to North Texas. Click on that one. It's probably what you're in.
There it is.
I don't know if it pops up. Should pop up.
Is it? Oh, it popped up. I'm sorry, but it popped up another tab. That's why it's showing.
Yeah, but it does show them all, right? It has organizations there and points of contact.
It does. It does show all of that. I'm trying to see if I could actually get that, because that's good stuff. Yeah. Just real quick, if you got a minute.
Sure.
Let's see. Let's stop sharing. Let me see if I can start this. Technology is a, and I'm not the greatest either. Let's see, Chrome tab. Okay, North Texas region. There it is. That should be popped up now.
There it is. So if you scroll through that, right, you keep going, and then right there you go. See, now it starts telling you the actual organizations that received grants this past year, and they serve veterans in North Texas. Wow. And so you could see the different ones that exist, right? And there's a point of contact and a website and everything. And so you contact them, and then you apply for assistance through them. And then, because we fund them. So we don't do the assistance directly. We do it through the organizations, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they can
So
also just fill out that form in the beginning and said,
mhm.
I need help in this area. And then we'll have someone from that department contacts and then, gives you, like, oh, these organizations can help you.
When I first got on there, it did do that. I mean, like
Mm,
Mr.
mhm.
Palladino said, it just popped a screen and it
Yeah.
just had check boxes. What
Yeah.
do you need? That is very awesome. I I invited you over not only to talk about all veterans issues, but one in particular. I've talked with the local our county district attorney, Miss Ann Montgomery, and there's also a judge, Mr. Judge Wallace, and they're interested in a veterans court and starting a veterans court in Ellis County. Now, this is something near and dear to my heart. I happen to be in the criminal justice field, and I see a lot of vets that are there, and it breaks my heart. It really does break my heart because by the time they come to me, there's no redemption for a while. Um, so, can you tell the people of Ellis County about a veterans court? What would be the benefit of a veterans court, and how does the Texas Veterans Commission help establish a veterans court?
So the Texas Government Code allows counties, if they so wish, to create a veterans court. Their Veteran Treatment Court is their official name. They're modeled after the very first one, which was in Buffalo, New York, back in the early 90s, right? Or in the maybe late 90s. Anyway, so that's when they first did it. The first one in Texas was Harris County, and I want to say it was 2008. And what it is a court that the DA refers veterans into, and it's a judge, so it's voluntary. So it's a judge that has a court, and it can be a misdemeanor court or a felony court, and the judge volunteers to do it, and then they fit the criteria, and then the county declares them a veteran treatment court, and then they can get funding to help fund it through the governor's office and the Veterans Commission. They're the two sources that you can help fund the court, for the extra expenses. And so what happens is the veterans get referred into this court. Now, while they're referred into the court, the charges are deferred, and they're in there. It's like a rehabilitation program for about a year, and there's all kinds of services. So while they're in there, they have the probation officers are in there, right? They are all the assistance that the county can give you. The DA referred them in there, so they're deferring the charges for now. Say it's has something to do with alcohol abuse or drug abuse, right? Well, they get rehab for that. Say it's it could be some mental health issues like TBI, right? Traumatic brain injury, or could it be PTSD or something? So they get the mental health services from the VA and from the local mental health authority. Employment services, we're helping them with job skills. We all of our programs are there available to them, to get them into any services that can improve their lives while they're going through this. Then at the end of the year, when they graduate, then what happens is depending on the county, the charges get dropped or they get expunged. So drop means that there's still a record of arrest on your record, but the charges all got dropped, right? And it's all been adjudicated in the court system. Expunged means, which some of them do that, where there's no record even of the arrest, right? So they're gone. And so it's a great way to rehabilitate, those offenders. Right now, there's 30 courts. I have the list I can always send you, but there's 30 courts.
Yes.
I think in your area, I know there's Dallas. Of course, there's Dallas, and there's Denton County, Dallas County. I don't think Midlothian County or Ellis County, Ellis County or Midlothian
No,
has one.
that's what I'm actually
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they'll get going here. I know that there's support for it, so that's kind of why I
Well, we
want.
can help them with
Oh, sorry.
putting their be done and putting them together to help them with that, and then funding things, and and also linking them up with other judges that have done it. So some experienced judges. So I can contact Judge Wallace, right, and try to give them a system any way we can to do that. It's very beneficial, I think, for the veterans. And I think last year, 1,200 veterans were enrolled in the veteran court program across the state. Yeah, 1207. That's correct. Yeah.
That's
And
1,207 lives, along with their
right,
families or kids that
right.
were changed. That
Right. That's
that's
right.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That
we do a report on every county for the whole year. How many, how many went through there? And there's some like just north of Dallas in like the Plano area, McKinney area. They have like a regional court system. It covers like 6 counties, so they
wow.
have that as well. So counties can combine and do a regional court, and a regional court can cover more than one county.
Wow, that is that, and that's a thing that I've heard that maybe there wasn't enough vets that come through that make the system worthwhile because there are permanent staff that have to be hired. So something like that would make it definitely worthwhile. But if you could save one veteran from getting something permanent, or and a lot of the times what they need is help. What they need is help, and they get the help in these tech, and they have to do something. They don't get to just get the benefits and not put in their
One of
time.
the most powerful things that I've actually attended is these graduations, the Veteran Treatment Court graduation. You'll see the gratitude of the veterans that have gone through the process. Safely is support, the court, how they've helped change their lives and get them back on track.
Yeah, that has to be amazing. Well, Mr. Palladino, I could have you on all night because this is so informative to veterans, but I try to keep these at half an hour. I do appreciate you giving me your time, because this is your time. And is there anything kind of in closing that you'd like to tell the people of Ellis County?
Well, I want to tell you that I want to thank them for, supporting veterans. Whether they're, I always say there's 3 types of people that exist in Texas: the ones that are veterans, the ones that members, and those that support veterans. And also, DV, I want to thank you for your service for over 10 years in the United States Navy. I don't know if everybody knows that, but you are a veteran yourself who has served on active duty, and in the reserves. And so I want to thank you for your service as well.
Thank you, Mr.
The
Palladino.
You're welcome. And to me, there's no higher calling than taking care of our children and taking care of our veterans. And Texas is one of those states that really does do that. That goes above and beyond. Here at the Texas Veterans Commission, we work with anybody that wants to help veterans. Right, the counties, we could go. Remember, your county veteran service officer is a very important point of contact in your county, and the VA as well. We work with them and all the other cities and counties and state agencies that they work together. Our website again is the www. .tvc.texas.gov, and on there we renovate that website all the time to make sure that it's user friendly. You can go also, there's another website the state has. It's called the Texas Veterans Portal. And if you go there, it's not just our information, but all the services in Texas that are out there, whether it's like, discounts for hunting licenses and state parks and fishing licenses and the such. And there's services like that. You can get veteran on your driver's license. I mean, there's a lot of services in Texas that people don't know about. So, if you need anything, get the word out so they contact us and we'll get them to the right source that meets their need the best way we can. And I also like to say in closing that, let's make every day Veterans Day, not just November 11th, but every check day. And there's the very last thing, I know that I said that was the last
That's
thing,
fine.
but I just remembered the legislature passed a law this past year, making the 11th of every month buddy check day. So basically is that on the 11th of every month, because the November 11th is Veterans Day, but the 11th of every month, they passed a law that's calling it buddy check day. So we were pushing that out. So what that means is veterans and family members of veterans check on your buddy on the 11th of every month just to see how they're doing, right? See how they're doing, if they need any help, whatever it is, so we can, address their needs if possible. So I close with that.
Wow. So veteran buddy check every 11th of the month. Check on your veteran buddy. You don't know what they could be going through. Actually, you do as a vet, you know what they're going through, but everybody else, you may not know that they're going through something. Reach out to them. Your voice of support may be what they needed to get through another day. So just remember that. And Mr. Palladino, again, I really appreciate you coming. I wanted to see if I could reach out to you sometime about a Texas Veterans Court here in Ellis County. Maybe get with Judge Wallace.
Sure, absolutely. Have
So
them connect with me and we'll help them.
thank you so much. You take care, sir.
Thank you, DV, for having me on. And thank you